All right. Welcome back, regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier iHypnosis life healer coach and your personal guide. Today's theme is all about repeated progression and, of course, the secrets that make repeated progression be what they are. So let's spend a little bit of time together on this, especially if you are already a healer and a coach, or maybe you're on the journey to becoming one. Now, let's put it like this. If you've already had that awakening and you realize that you want to be able to help other people just like how in the past you have been helped, then of course the question is, what do you do to make sure that you're able to help other people just like you have been? And so one of the things, of course, that we do as healers and coaches is that we focus on maybe one process or one way, one technique, or one, let's call it a modality. Like for me, it was everything to do with language, everything to do with NLP or neuro linguistic programming, and of course, hypnosis. So over the last now closer to, I should say, closer to 2 decades, I have had the privilege, I've had the good fortune of focusing on repeated progression. Goes without saying that both the words are equally important. Repeated meaning that you keep doing it over and over and over again, do it pretty much on a daily basis. And then, of course, the second word, which is progression. And so, when you're able to keep doing the work, you're able to keep working at it, you will notice that you've moved ahead, you've gotten better. And so when you combine the two, which is repeated and progression, that is when you unlock the secrets. And so maybe if you've been wondering, why is it that your process, why is it that what you're doing isn't really going forward, or you seem to keep getting stuck, just remember the two words. That's the mantra: repeated progression. So as long as you're willing to show up, as long as you're willing to do the work, as long as you're willing to, some people call it the hard yards, which means, like, do you show up for practice when it's raining? Do you show up for practice when it is, scorching hot? Do you show up for practice when it is, freezing cold? So in whatever, regardless of where you live in this world, as long as you're willing to keep showing up and you're willing to keep practicing, that is where you will be able to tap into the power of repeated progression. And so my question to you, of course, is that it sounds easier said than done. And when you're on the other side, which means you haven't yet been able to find that success, you haven't yet been able to get really good at what you do, what is important is that, do you still show up when it, especially when it feels like you've kind of like lost your way, or it feels like you're questioning whether you're even supposed to be doing this work. And so I know in my journey as well, I've had those moments. However, what kept me going was this, literally, like, you could call it an unfounded belief, which means it was really coming from a place of faith that I somehow believe that I'm meant to be doing this work. And so even when the results weren't as powerful, they weren't as visible, I still made it a point to show up. I still made it a point to learn. And that expression of learning the hard way, I think the point of learning the hard way is that you're learning when you really don't know what the next step is, or sometimes you don't know what the next three steps are. So when you're in such a situation, even if you're just making it a point to show up, most often that is enough. So maybe you were meant to listen to this right now as a reminder that this work that you're doing is truly important and you are truly important. So when you show up and you do the work, that is really when all of this comes together. So as I said, these pods are made for you, especially as a healer and a coach, and to remind you that you're meant to show up and share your message with the world. Want you to know, of course, that I truly appreciate you. And of course, if there's any way in which me or even members of my community can be here to help you, to serve you on your journey to finding and tapping into the secrets of repeated progression. Just come experience what happens in the community. And if you already happen to be in our community, come be part of our many programs. We just officially rolled out the Foundation 3.0. This is literally the foundation for you to be able to tap into that personal mastery. This will help you in your own personal journey, as well as, of course, it will help you in building that business of being the healer and the coach that you really are. As always, I truly appreciate you. And if there's any way in which we can help you, please do reach out and let me know. And of course, having said all of that, remember to live your purpose. God bless. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, Neetu. I see your message. Thank you for showing up. And for those of you who happen to be watching this live, or if you happen to be watching this later, thank you for tuning in. And having said all of that, of course, as always, remember to live your purpose. God bless. Take care. See you in the next one.